I just wanted to start, I guess, with by talking about data in the context of an organization's data architecture, and go over some ways that open banking, open finance could impact. So when we look at this diagram here, this is a pretty standard view of data architecture. It consists of 5 different layers: the storage layer, the ingestion layer, the insight layer, the consumption layer, and the governance layer. So I want to go through them one by one and just speak really quickly on each one. So if we click, the storage layer is the epicenter of the data architecture. It's the centralized or distributed storage of raw or processed, granular, or aggregated, structured or unstructured data that's populated through the ingestion layer. And it provides context for both the insight and consumption layers. In the storage layer, you could have in-memory, relational, open source, massively parallel processing databases. If your company decides to use your storage layer as both the source and the target for open banking APIs, the platform's performance to deliver and receive data will be critical to your success and competitive advantage. If there's strong adoption in Canada, open banking may stretch the capabilities of your existing databases with potentially large and unpredictable influx of API-related data. And most significantly, this data will have varying degrees of quality. So you'll need to monitor it, you'll need to track it, even maybe quarantine it before you can blend it with other data and make it available for consumption. The next layer, the ingestion layer, is the gatekeeper to the storage layer. It is typically home to a number of data integration technologies, such as ETL, extract, transform, load, or ELT, extract, load, transform, to ingest raw data and prepare it for consumption. The ingestion layer may receive data in a number of different modes. You can stream it from the IoT or Internet of Things. It can come in by batch, real-time, or event-driven. The sources of data will include on-premise, cloud solutions, third-party data aggregators, and now it's going to include open banking APIs. So data received from APIs may stress ingestion systems, because this data in APIs are real-time. So you'll be dealing with more real-time data than you may normally have dealt with in the past. So you need to make sure that these processes will be robust, and especially in the air handling and dealing with data that does not meet corporate standards of quality and completeness. And of course, to ensure that it meets data quality standards, if you don't have data quality standards, you should have them and get them set up. The next layer, the insight layer, consists of technologies designed to drive insights through descriptive, prescriptive, and predictive analytics. Expect an increase in artificial intelligence, especially machine learning and deep learning, to deliver more personalized customer experience and develop innovative propositions. So you can also expect that there's going to be richer data through data sharing. You're going to have data sources that are coming in that will tell you more and more about the customer's behavior. Things like customer risk profile, markets not owned, and lost pipeline. You'll have more information to determine what's going on in your customer's financial life. So, but at the same time, if you already have existing models, you're going to have to reconsider how those models were built. And because they were built with different types of data sets that were derived from different sources. Now, moving on to the consumption layer, this layer is made up of applications that consume data from storage layer to customize customer experience, to support operational decision-making, to inform frontline staff, or meet regulatory and compliance commitments. So these types of applications could include CRM, digital marketing, call center automation, chatbots, robotic process automation, just to name a few. With open banking, expect the increase of data-enabled applications, but success will be contingent on your organization's ability to ensure responsive access to trusted, and I underline that word trusted, high quality data. And that's a perfect segue to the governance layer. This layer establishes the rules of engagement for the management and access of data across roles, responsibilities, decisions, rights, policies, and standards. In a world with open banking, data quality, one of the key functions of data governance, should be first and foremost at the top of everyone's mind. Business and reputational risk will increase with open banking for two main reasons. Your own data and all of its qualities, good and bad, will be exposed to more external parties. And number two, other companies' data quality issues will become your data quality issues. It's the perfect medium to grow and culture data quality, quote unquote, diseases. The following data governance activities will become mission critical to the survival of an organization in participating in open banking. Establish data quality standards if you don't already have them. Inventory open banking data providers and rank them on data quality and completeness, as well as reliability and timeliness. Track the lineage of data back to the API and provider. Collect and maintain an inventory of data sharing agreements that you have set up with other open banking participants. Establish a data access rights management, which is something that Dominic has already mentioned. It's important that now you have a way of managing who gets data when, and it needs to be something that is seamless and transparent and will be nimble to react to changes in open banking. You're going to need to establish help desk functions to report, triage, and correct data quality issues. You're going to need to establish policies, roles, and responsibilities and workflows for data retention, disposal, and decommissioning. Next slide, Dominic. So I don't think in Canada we will fully know the impact of open banking or open finance until the scope of data has been defined and Canada decides to move forward. When open banking was implemented in Australia, the Farrell report talked about 4 different classifications of data that could be included when, which you can see described here in this slide. There's the customer provided data, which excludes identity verification. There's transaction data. There's value-added customer data and aggregated data sets. The Department of Finance Canada started the conversation in September 2018 with a qualitative research project, which surfaced that the younger generation of consumers were more likely to use open banking and recognize its benefits. There was an advisory committee set up on open banking, also in 2018 in Canada. And in 2019, Innovation, Science and Economic Development Canada published Canada's Digital Charter and how the government of Canada plans to build a foundation of trust. As of yet, we don't know when Canada is moving forward, but we need to be ready. And so when the decision is finally made to move forward, the full impact of your data ecosystem will need to be addressed. So I'm just going to go through. I have a couple more slides. I'll go through them really quickly. Next slide, Dominic. So 4 impacts: breaking down the geographic barriers between Canada and the rest of the world. And the 1 and 2 are kind of related. When we break down those barriers, then anybody wanting to do business in Europe from Canada is going to need to consider how Europe's GDPR is going to affect them. And Canada as a whole may want to decide if they're going to set up a regulation, a similar regulation around data privacy and data portability. Open banking will introduce competition with new entrants who will have the coolest, most current technologies and no legacy systems to hold them back. So existing FIs will need to fully harness data in order to earn customer loyalty and engagement and provide competitive products and services, as well as superior customer experience. And finally, and probably most importantly, data governance programs. It's important to make sure that you have those in place. So let's move on to the last slide. So finally, I just want to leave you with these three thoughts. Transforming open banking from idea to pertinent data practices requires looking beyond APIs, and data will never be worth more than consumers' confidence in the data practices. And data value isn't an attribute of how much data you hold, but it's the result of consumer perceptions.